Hello, Kammunyie. How are you, Baba? So, instead of calling you and talking to you on the phone, I decided to make a video for you. You were on my mind ever since you told me you were pregnant. I hope you're healthy and all. So instead of talking on the phone, and every time we talk on the phone, the conversation degenerates into conflict. Mean, profound conflict, or sometimes it escalates into a kangaroo boxing match. So I thought, make a video for Kammunyie and tell her a couple of things on my mind, the things that I think I know, right? Some people say they know, but they don't. Some people say they don't know, but they know. Oh yeah, that happens. So Kammunyie, uh, excuse me, uh, excuse my philosophy. I'm gonna philosophize on you today. All right, and meantime, I'm gonna drink coffee as well. So bear with, bear with me. So it turns out, from my knowledge, that there is a certain of what I term as suborganic material, suborganic, not organic, suborganic, partially organic, that the body and the brain needs, but it cannot get by way of food or drinks or anything that it ingests through the mouth, if you will. In my opinion, this material or this organic, excuse me, or suborganic material is so crucial to the mind, the brain itself, and the body, and so on. So crucial that if that material is not constantly taken in and ingested by the mind, and the mind, of course, distributes that through the body, right? Now, I'm not sure of this. The body either dies, the brain either dies, or it loses main functions. One could be conscious and all, but it loses the very basic internal functions. Now, I said you're smart, right? I know you're smart. You're after me, you and my other children. I said you cannot. Body doesn't take this by way of food or anything else. And in fact, if it takes this material by way of mouth and food, like in life, it may actually get sick and reject it. So where does the material come from? You guessed it, bacteria. So if you go now out on life, this life, right? And take all the bacteria out from the humans and soil and everywhere else, life will stop. Turns out that we so much need bacteria that our life depends on. Where is this bacteria, right? Where does it come from? I just said, if you take bacteria by way of the mouth and so on, we may actually die, right? Our immune system will immediately reject it, and you know the story, right? You're like a doctor, you and your husbands are doctors. You're much smarter than I am. What do you think of the double hat? Like beluga hat. I have invented beluga hat, and I give exclusive rights for producing beluga hats to my children. I also make my own coffee, Kammunyie. One day, if you're here, I'll make you coffee as well, so you drink coffee with me. So anyways, it turns out if you ever able to switch your conscious and look into your mind, it turns out that I found out, and the mind gets bothered by that, right? The mind or the brain is doing so many things that it doesn't tell us about, right? Actually, it ignores us completely. One of which is that the brain maintains a farm. It consciously maintains a farm. That farm has a slaughterhouse associated or integrated in it with it. So it's a combined slaughterhouse and a farm, Where's that at? You guessed it, Kammunyie. It's the intestine, Papa, the large intestine. That's where this bacteria is. So this is not an accidental thing that this bacteria came into our large intestine. It's intentional. How do I know? Because the small intestine, right, usually don't have bacteria. It produces all the waste, which is not completely waste, into that area where it has the farm, right? Or otherwise, think of it this way. Why would the body have like two different, uh, uh, two different intestine type? Not just that. One goes up, don't notice it goes up, transverse and down. Why? Because if it was straight down forward, we have to be in the bathroom 24 hours a day. So it's well designed physically, like engineered, up and down. So we don't have to be in the bathroom constantly. Not just that, but that's where that brain that does a lot of things, it doesn't tell us about, maintains it. So the bacteria is dying constantly, and the material, it's probably killing the bacteria, right, Baba? Because that place is toxic as well. So the bacteria is reproducing as well as dying fast, right? And then when the bacteria disintegrates, the material from that bacteria is absorbed, and the brain gets things running. Now that's not disgusting. Why? Because if you go look at a barn and see a cow, the dung and so on and so forth, and guess what? We make the best of food out of it, and it's milk, right? Guess what? So that's what I'm trying to say, Amina. Why am I trying to say all this? Well, first of all, I thought about it because there are some evil bunch who may misuse that, actually. So let me go back. Well, because you're my daughter, I was thinking about it and so on and so on. And there's a reason I'm telling you about this. Just give me a minute. Here's what I think. I think if you take the bacteria completely out of the human being, I'm not sure of this. Because I know from knowledge, deep like introspection, that the human body and the brain have always, it always maintains reserves, right? Always maintain reserves, whether it's sugar, food, you name it, protein, you name it, it always maintains reserve, right? Sometimes this reserve may be actually in this bacteria, but no, actually, it maintains reserves. So why am I saying this to you? And remember, I'm not sure if you take out of the bacteria out, like if you take out the colon completely out of the human being, I don't know. I think they may actually die or just basically lose much of their depths. Certain stratums. Our brain, Baba, is like, it's not one thing. It has stratums, right? And some people say we're only using like 10% of our brains. That's not the case, Baba. Every brain in this world is 100% used. But it depends on the functionality of it. Sometimes you see different heat signature, but no, this 10% is not true, Baba. So anyways, that's where this wily, secretive brain maintains a farm in a slaughterhouse and transportation system and so on, that farm in the colon or in the large intestine. So that's it to you. But to me, it turned out to be that it is so crucial to the growth of a baby. That thing is so crucial to the growth of a baby that if the baby doesn't have that, I doubt that baby will grow up to be healthy. But now when the baby is in the womb of the mother is given all this material, right? So the brain actually splits, like traffic and shares with the baby. This material that it extracts from its farm, right? And I'm like, well, if the baby is born, where does it get it? But it hit me. It's really the nursing. So it turns out that bacteria as well, the brain uses to take material from the takes materials suborganic. You know what? In our body, it's not just suborganic; it's also on nuclear level. So in a way, we are nuclear reactors. Our bodies are nuclear reactors. You don't see that, but it's there. So anyways, that's it. When the woman is nursing the child, that material, which is imperative, which is so crucial to the growth of the child and the brain in particular, Baba, is provided by the mother through the nursing, like the milk, right? The mother's milk. So that's why it's extremely crucial, Baba, for you to, and that's my reason. It's extremely crucial for you to nurse your child, really, yourself, at least a year and a half, at least 2 years, oh, good. 3 years, oh, you're good, right? So that's what I'm saying. And if that's it, oh gosh, I lost the train of thoughts. Okay, I got it, that big reason. Now, how does the child, now that's the milk, right, which provides that material. How does the child, Baba, get the bacteria? I always wondered about that. In nature, for example, and I'm going to be discussing a little bit, if you see how elephant gets it, it's disgusting, but elephant gets it by walking behind its mother and eating some stuff, right? That's how they get the bacteria, or other animals and so on and so on. But in the human realm, I think it's an accident, Baba. It comes by accident. That accident is 100% bound to happen when the mother is dealing the baby, right? Out of her breath, actually, when we breathe, we produce some of that bacteria, right, in the air, and the baby gets it, right? Uh, and that's how the baby gets it. Now, the milk provides that material, that suborganic material, for the which is crucial for the growth of the brain, and then through the milk. But meantime, while it's doing this, the bacteria, set of bacteria, or this culture that eventually becomes the farm, is coming also from the mother, yeah, possibly from the father, right? When we're close, sometimes, like on microscopic level. So what I did one time in the past is do this, Baba, and don't be disgusted because the baby is from its mother. I did this and I did this, right? And then the mother feeds right away. And then you guarantee that from the get-go, right? So the material provided by the mother by way of milk, that material, suborganic material, which is really almost everything in the life of a human being. You'll either be smart or be dumb, right? Based on what you get from your mother. And then, well, genetic too, like let's say it's not genetic alone, inheritance from the father, it's not everything, no. So that's what it is, Kammunyie. We please do that, and at least a year and a half, Baba. First 6 months, exclusive. Don't put anything else in the mouth of the child. Now I know your husband is a doctor and you're a doctor and all that stuff, and like you'll probably say, and I'm glad I'm doing this through a video. Otherwise, the kangaroos would now be like really cutting each other apart. But I know how to circumvent your anger. So, anyways, do that, Baba. At least the first 6 months, nothing else except your own nursing. After 6 months, a little bit here, a little bit there. Now, cow's milk is not bad, but not the one with hormone. And make sure you can go to a farm, right? And they will give you real milk. And then if you like give your son just a little bit, thimble, like probably a thimble a day or something of the sort. Real milk, non-pasteurized, go to the farm and you'll be all right. Like you got like a lot of farms in Florida and here and there, and they will send you, right? Clear milk and clean milk. Don't worry, Baba. If we are too sanitized, our bodies will be weak. So anyways, that said, there is something else I want to tell you about your food. Eat, Baba, when you eat beef, eat the natural beef, no hormones and all that stuff, but the grass-fed beef. There's some of that in Target. I think they sell it like in small pouches. It's not really expensive. It says no hormones, no additives, grass-fed beef, because grass-fed beef has different thing in it, like I don't know. Also eat now. Some people make assumption that certain fruit or vegetable has certain minerals. Not true, Baba. Why? Because if there's no such mineral in the soil, there's no such mineral in the fruit that goes out of that soil. So what I would do is I would go, and I know this one is probably a little bit too late. I would go buy palm dates. There are some produced in California, some produced in Arabia, some in India, some in Palestine. And I would take one probably from each, like once a day, like four times a week, right? Eat one in the morning, one from each, right? So California, Monday, Tuesday, Arabia, Wednesday, Palestine, Thursday, India, and so on, because they maintain or they can contain different minerals, Baba. So the minerals in there is not the minerals here, and so on. That helps, I believe. That helps a lot, I believe. And you guys are doctors. There's something I want to tell you. This is very crucial. There is a certain disease, Baba, I am suspicious of. I'm not 100% sure that some, and it's rare, some children, and it's like in the Jewish community, some children, they wake up fine, right? And about 10 a.m., say about 3 hours after their awakening and activities, they lose like consciousness and balance and so on. And if I recall correctly, they called it shortage of dopamine, like the brain consumes all that necessary dopamine or something like that. And then, the mind goes berserk or something like that. And I've seen them, the children, like they are no longer able to control themselves or something of the sort. And I think they're right. I'm not certain. I have a feeling. It could be genetic, of course, I don't know. But I have a feeling that this bacteria thing I just told you about got something to do with it. So if there's no bacteria in the intestine, doctors better put some in there from a relative because it will be rejected. Maybe it's too late at one point and something like that. But nonetheless, I'm suspicious. I'm not sure of this. I think that's where the reason is, because a lot of material come from that that is so crucial to us, come from that farm, come from that farm in the large intestine that is so important for us. So the last point I want to make to you, Kammunyie, is this: if the woman has or the father has genetic defects in their families, or so and so and so, do not nurse the child or put him away so they won't pick up the wrong pathogens from the mother and the father, right? Like the umpire, when you're with your child, things are flying that you don't see, but that's how the child gets it. Yeah, do that, Baba. But I know you don't have genetic defects, like you come from me. Baba here is, So anyways, if there's genetic defect in the family, hereditary diseases and so on, I'm not sure it's gonna cure or heal, but don't nurse the child if you have genetic defects in your family, or you have like issues and you understand what I'm saying, right? Let the child be in a different healthy environment and then bring it back. At least like once they're weaned and so on, because now the immune system will reject anything that's foreign from what they already had from their infancy. That's all I wanted to say, Kammunyie. I know that may sound like gibberish and so on, but you know what? I'm a father. You're my child, and no matter how successful you are, you're always on my mind. You in particular, you suffered a little bit. I know. I'm sorry, Baba, but that's how things went. And, anyway, for those who doesn't know what Kammunyie means, that's my child, Amina, right? Kammunyie is from Kammun. Arabs brought spices to the West, right? And some of it called Kammun, or cumin in the West. It's called Cumin, Kammun. And the color is like greenish brownish, right? And then when we were back home, when we were little, if there's a tabby cat or like cumin color cat, we call it cumin color cat, we call it Kammunyie. So I always call Amina Kammunyie because Amuna and Kammunyie are like close to each other. All right, Kammunyie, love you and be healthy and say hello to your husband and come home soon. Or like see where your husband wants to go and go with him. Have a nice day, Baba. Wish you luck. Bye now. Love you.